Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special episode of DeepSeededGeek. I am Jason, and it is this month's Game of the Month session that you're watching right now. With me, I have three very special friends joining me today, and we're going to let them introduce themselves. But before they do, they're going to tell us, what was the most recent game you bought that you regret? First of all, who are you?
Hi, I'm Dean. I like games, so that's why I'm here. I'm gonna have to say I didn't buy this game, but I waited a long time for it and I got it for Christmas, and I would have bought it, so I'm counting it. Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and Assassin's Creed 3, you can tell they had a really good idea. And then they ran out of time, and they didn't seem to care. And that bugs me.
Yeah, that's sad because I've heard good things. Like I loved it. I played 1 and 2, and I bought Brotherhood recently. I'm gonna play that, but I've heard the very same thing about 3. It's that
three starts off with a bang.
Yeah,
such a good start.
Best beginning out of all the games.
And then just.
That's. I'm sorry for your loss.
It's sad.
All right. Going down the line.
Well, I never got around to it, but then I eventually waited for it to decrease in price, and it was God of War 3. No, you know what? Not a bad game.
Okay.
But it glitched out. I couldn't get through the whole game.
Oh no.
I was playing it fine for about a solid month, and just bit by bit by bit, and then it got to just getting out of Hades or something like that, and then I don't know. It is just a bad disc.
I'm gonna fix that.
Not that it was a bad game.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna fix that. I've got it. I'm gonna fix that. He's gonna come back next month and he's gonna change his tune. I promise you.
By the way,
that's Josh. You remember him from last time.
Totally.
And last but not least, in the corner pocket,
Cory.
Hey.
Cory. The last game that I bought that I regret buying was The War Z.
Oh my God! Yes.
I bought a copy and I got so psyched. I bought Brasher a copy for Christmas,
which I was so grateful for.
And we were super psyched to play it. And I don't know, we never got around to playing it together. I don't know what your experience with the game was, but I tried about 3 or 4 times to get started. And the game itself is a complete mess because it's not finished. And they didn't tell anyone it wasn't finished when they released it on Steam. Not finished. And the people that are playing the game have apparently been playing the beta for a long time, so they know all the tricks and they know how to really frustrate the new players. It's a half-built Wild West PvP game that doesn't work on a lot of levels. And
I'll tell you what, if you go on Google right now and you search The War Z, you will see just how much criticism this game has got. I think it's the lowest scoring game on Metacritic right now, and not without reason. But that's not what we're here
That might
to.
be another video.
That will be another video because I did have an idea, and we'll run this by the viewers. If you would like to see us do a game of the month where we play the crappiest game of the month, so that could be an option for a future one. Here are my brothers in arms for video games, and the game of the month this month is Payday the Heist, brought to us by Cory. And Overkill Studios, I believe. Correct?
They helped me a little bit.
They helped him out a little bit. They kind of nudged him in the right way. So, like last time, and like we do with every Game of the Month session, we're going to start off with the basics of the game, and then we're going to dive into a little more beneath the surface of the game and really get to the heart of the matter of it. So we're going to start down the line. We're going to start with Dean, and we're going to talk about what your opinion was of the game's graphics and overall art style. He's getting his notes. He came prepared.
It's very important. It's my homework last night.
Yeah.
The graphics, well, I found them to be necessary. Meaning, they very easily could have made them better, sharper, more realistic. But for an FPS, you want a certain cartoony feel. So again, that's what I mean by necessary. They're realistic to a point, so you got enough blood, and all that stuff, but they don't look hyper real. The cops, at least, anyways. Other than that, glass effects really cool. The shattering effects I like quite a bit, actually.
The physics of the whole thing.
Yeah, the physics are really good. Other than that, yeah, that's just necessary. That's how I found the graphics.
I'm kind of on the opposite end. I've been playing FPSs for a little while, and I
He
like.
says with his nose turned down.
This is for some time.
Let me adjust my monocle. No, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
But, you know, I'm more into seeing what they can do next with the genre. You know, like body movement for one is that's a big. I think that's probably one of the biggest things is to make it. It gets me into the game. It gets me. That's the kind of stuff that gives me an adrenaline rush. Is when I feel immersed and I feel like I am that person because it is the first person. It's you partaking in this whole crazy adventure, right? So, in that sense, I like to look down. I like to see my feet. I like to, you know, I like elements like that to the game.
Yeah.
You must love Far Cry then.
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you love Far Cry.
Haven't played it yet, but I'm a BF3 fan. I really like the textures in that, or the textures in that
BF3
game.
for those not in the realm of first-person shooters is Battle Frogs the Third.
That's actually Battlefield 3. But you know, for what the game is, and especially cost-wise, it was okay. Like I wouldn't give it like a 5-star on graphics. Maybe somewhere in the realm of a 3.5. But yeah, overall it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Off to you.
Okay, I gotta, before I say anything about this game, I have to go on record as saying that I'm the biggest fan of this game. I love this game. I've been playing it for a long, long time now. I will say the graphics. If I'm gonna be critical of the game, the graphics is where I'm gonna be critical. I think that the graphics. I think the best thing that I can say about the graphics is they do their job. I agree with everything that these guys said. I think that they're okay in the game. It gets pretty fast and furious, so I guess it works in the game's favor that it doesn't have a lot of really hard to render avatars or anything like that. But you notice that it's the graphic style is a bit dated at this point. Dimensions are a bit flat, colors are a bit bland. Certainly, there's a lot of like Josh was saying, there's not a lot of immersiveness based on how the graphics are presented, and it gets cut apart. Like when you're, for instance, when you're watching another one of your teammates play the game, if they happen to say jump, you don't see a jumping animation. You see the character running and then running in the air and then dropping. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think cost is an important point. I think I definitely want to talk about cost in this game in a little while here.
Yep.
I think for the cost and for what the game is, I think the graphics do a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a game where the graphics really stand out and really challenge your computer, this isn't the one.
Yeah. The only thing I will add is that I do agree that I forget who made the comment that I think you all did, where the graphics are at the point that they need to be for this type of game. They're not out to prove themselves as a graphical powerhouse or like an artistic, kind of game. That's a technical term. But they do their job, and I the only thing I could compare it to is if you see a lot of games that use the Steam engine, such games as Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead, all these games, they do their job, but are they impressive like to the degree of like a new Crysis game or something like that? No, of course not. But the engine is developed well enough for it to be functional and not ugly, we'll say.
To touch on that, and Dean made the comment, used the word necessary.
Yes.
Don't you think it would affect the tone or the flavor of the game if the graphics were really hyper real? Like, this is a game where you're headshotting cops all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
So to have a game where I'm trying to think of an example, like Battlefield, for instance, where the graphics are very detailed.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that would change the tone of the game, where you lose that little bit of cartooniness, that little bit of disconnect, right? Because you're killing cops.
Yeah.
You know, you're killing cops constantly.
Yeah, and I don't think we're at a point in our society where we want to be careful and not glorifying violence for sure. Like, so.
Well, yeah.
Payday is a mature title, people.
Yes.
Don't
yes,
let your kids play it.
Yes. Well. I'd like to note that I am not a parent.
Like
so
dad of the year here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so they're not over the top by any means. We can all agree on that. They do work for the title itself. And I will say that what is lacking in the graphics and the art style of the game, it more than makes up in some of the other categories that we're going to be talking about soon. Before I do get on to the next category, something I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, which I even wrote down, but I don't pay attention to my notes most of the time, is that at the end of this video, we are going to be doing a giveaway for the first time. I know, right? So
I like giveaways.
I know, but
Yeah.
you can't know.
Oh.
What the giveaway is I made a bunch of donations to these charities through Humble Bundle, and in return they give you Steam keys for products that you give away.
Cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one of the ones that I got was a Steam key for the documentary indie film The Game, which chronicles the beginning, middle, and after of creating games such as Braid, Fez, and Super Meat Boy. Fantastic documentary. It's won numerous awards, and I'm going to be giving that away for free at the end of this video. So how you can get that, stay tuned and we'll let you know at the very end. Actually, no, I should say it now because since I forgot to mention this at the beginning, I'll probably forget to mention it at the end. So here's how you do it. At the end of this video, in the comments section, please let us know your opinion on Payday, a game that you want us to play in the future, any kind of suggestion, any kind of thing. The best one, the one gets voted up the most, or the one that I particularly like the best. I'll be emailing you the Steam key, and yeah, you can enjoy that and give me your thoughts on that as well. So, with that in mind, we're going to move right along to the next part of Payday the Heist. Next topic up is the sound design and the atmosphere and the music.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Music.
Yes, sir.
Music in that game? I didn't even notice.
Oh, man. Oh, check it out. We're having our first technical difficulty.
Hey,
I don't know if you can see it.
I called it.
I don't know if you can see it, but London
Maybe
Bridge
on
is
that
falling
cam,
down.
not that one.
But anyway, sorry, that's us, not you.
No.
So you'll just see the game kind of go all of a sudden. So yes, sound design. Josh, we'll start with you.
Well, coming from Frostbite 2.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, but it's definitely a downgrade. But overall, really, I didn't play the game an insane amount. But, you know, guns sound like guns. Rat-a-tat-tat.
Cory's shaking his head.
Your opinion is a ball of shit. Nope.
No.
I reject it.
Okay, well, do you really
reject
want me
your
to pull
reality.
Okay, do you want me to pull the game apart? Really, in comparison to, I'm sorry that I keep the comparison of Frostbite, but it's definitely a downgrade in the sound effects. I really can't say that much more about it. Like, for what you're paying for, again, it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's the worst sound effects I've ever heard, but I think definitely
you have a certain watermark that you want games to be at sound wise for this type of game, and it just didn't quite meet it.
Yeah, but again, with what you're paying, you get what you pay for, right? Yeah. And so for the $20 or whatever it is that I spent on the video game, I think it was sufficient. You know, it got you thinking that you're into a bank heist, and there's a lot of screaming. There's a lot like the voice acting isn't that bad at all, actually.
Yeah.
Aside from that, that's all I can really say about the sound effects. Off to you again, Cory. Or are we going this way now?
No, of course. Okay.
Again, it's okay. If you're going to look at the technical side of things, you're going to look at it in a matter of cost. I think that's the key right there. This is a cheap game, and the production values were not super high at the point that it was when it was distributed, and certainly by today's standards, no. If we're talking technically, I don't know all the technical specs about the audio and the type of coding they use. All I know is that for what it is, the music rocks. You were having problems with your sound, I think.
Yeah, there was that one time.
The sound is it's got this really great like heavy rock track. All the different there's a bunch of different tunes, one for each mission, and they're all very edgy and very raw and get you into the role of an action hero. The voice acting is great. There are 4 distinct characters. Everybody plays a different bank robber. The voice acting for all the characters you're playing are just awesome. Everybody has a different sort of thing. You've got the tough as nails, gritty criminal. You've got the suave Englishman criminal. You've got kind of the crazy, over-the-top guy. And the character really comes out. Civilians are screaming and they're crying. Cops are yelling at you. People are swearing. I'm a big fan of the sound. I can definitely see the argument that, it doesn't hold up. It's not on the same level as some other games. I would not make that contest at all. But I think that as a tool designed to get you into the game, I contend that the audio is better than does a better job of it than the graphics do.
Do you know?
Well, for the music, it changes pace with what you're doing, which isn't anything revolutionary. But if I found that when I was hearing the music at those points, it wasn't so much music, more like it was a background track. Like it was just, it wasn't memorable. It might have helped me get more into the mood of what I'm doing, holding up a bank or what have you. But all in all, pretty forgettable. I didn't think about it until the question was posed to me. So there you go.
Yeah, I was too busy trying to figure out how to use a keyboard and mouse versus a controller. So therefore, I didn't really get
that. Should not reflect on your review of the game. That's your own shortcoming, sir.
Yeah. Actually, no. I'll.
You know what?
I'll give you
for
that
the rest
one.
of this video. I'm not reviewing Payday. I'm reviewing Josh. That's all there is to it.
The voice acting, I found it was good, but it was minimal. So it was useful info that they were giving you, but there wasn't a lot of mumble jumble.
To be fair, there's a lot more. A lot of the voice acting is random. We played a lot of First World Bank together. And randomly, if one person keeps running around the bank screaming at the hostages, eventually that person will have a big, bank robbery, get down on the ground and don't nobody move if you don't want to get perforated with bullets kind of speech.
See, that's really interesting. I guess I never played the game.
There's a lot of random stuff that pops up into the game.
Yeah.
A lot of Easter eggs in the game, yeah.
You gotta play it.
I think this is one of those games that you've really... I do know that I love the game more than most people do. But you do, I think, really, really have to sink your teeth into it to really appreciate the nuances that it throws at you. So.
Cool. And then the other thing about the sound is the guns and guns.
They sound like guns. Yeah,
There
they
you
sound
go.
like guns.
The only thing I can add to that, I do love the soundtrack. I might be the only one, but when I first started playing the game, I played it as a single player first. Just to get a feel for how it works and, not to look like an idiot when I do take on my friends. And there, you don't have anything that you're really supposed to be concentrating on too much, so you can sit back and enjoy the tunes that are in the background. And it is so cool. It does a nice blend of any kind of high-tension heist kind of movie. Yeah, exactly. Mixed with like a Tarantino kind of 70s funk. It's very cool. And depending on where you are, it adapts to that a little bit for each one. Yes,
remember, we talked about The Walking Dead last episode.
Yep.
And spoilers. In the last episode of The Walking Dead, season 1, there's that really cool part where you're running through killing zombies and they have that crazy.
Oh
like,
my
guitar
God.
thing. There's a mission where the soundtrack is just all that.
Yeah.
And it just, if there's fun and music to murder cops to, I haven't heard it.
Awesome. But yeah, so that's my my only thing about the audio music track, at least. Voice work, it did what it was. It says, okay, guys, here's your mission, and then we go on our mission. And if we need to interact with people, it says very cool phrases like "get on your belly," and all that.
Hey
kind of
James! Hey
Cory!
James!
Yeah.
Hey James! I think I did it entire. I did it at like my first. I think my first. Just learning everything. I went on an online game with some guys, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep saying, "Hey, hey James! Hey James! Come here! Hey James!" Like the entire time. I think it was really annoying.
They're typing in chat. Fuck you.
Pretty much.
So the voice work that didn't really stand out for me, but I mean it did what it needed to do. You don't have to excel at that for this kind of game. It's funny how we're making excuses for this kind of game, but we'll get to that too. Sound effects wise, yeah, it does its job. I'm not overly critical when it comes to gunshots. I don't know the real thing from a fake thing, so it sounded like a kaboom and it came out of my gun, so hey, sounds like a gun to me. So that played out well. Honestly, the only thing that really stood out for me for audio wise was the music, and I loved it. I actually downloaded the soundtrack after I listened to it for quite a bit, and it's just a good time. So yeah, that was that. Moving right along here, excuse me as I go to my notes. Here's something that we'll be able to talk at length about. Being...
Oh my god. Oh my god, the wall's falling down.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, she's down.
It's
She's down for the count. It's okay, we got a little crack in there. We'll deal with it. It's fine. Being that this is... Oh, sorry, I skipped a question here.
Oh.
The game mechanics, the actual feel and the way the game is played and everything like that. That's our next question. Cory, I want you to start this one off.
I love the gameplay. It's a very stripped down in terms of options for what you can and cannot do. It's a very, very stripped down system. Everybody gets 3 weapons and a couple of accessories, and that's about it. The game is about doing your objectives and making things happen within the map. You don't get a lot of options. There's no military kill bot that comes in and wipes the map out. There's no smoke grenades. There's no grenades of any kind. It's about working with your teammates and about using your own skills as a player. And that's what I love about the game, is that there's not a lot of tricks. The tricks that you have at your disposal are the tricks that you and your teammates tactically put together and make happen. Big fan of it. The action gets really chaotic, especially when you start getting into the higher levels of difficulty. The game gets really chaotic, bullets flying everywhere. It's hard to stay alive. You got to keep your head down and just do what you can to survive. And it gets really intense.
I'd like to back that up for 1 second and just say I can attest to what Cory's saying. The first time I did co-op play, I saw Cory was online and I said, "Hey man, can I jump in?" He said, "Come on in!" And I jumped in. I'm the kind of guy when I start shooters, I start at like recruit or like noob or like you're a friggin' idiot level, and I just pray to God that I don't get killed within the first 5 seconds, which always happens. And so I jumped in with Cory. "Yeah, man, come on, play." And I jump in, and he's on overkill, which is the toughest thing you can do. And I jumped in right in the middle of a firefight.
You were you logged in, and I think you were up for about 8 seconds.
8 seconds. I was like,
down.
what? Down. So it is extremely difficult if you want it to be. But I think miraculously, I like to say with pride, I'm not saying miraculously, I think the second playthrough, we started from the beginning to the end of a level on overkill, and I lived to tell the tale.
Well, we're not, I mean, it's a cost-effective game, and we've gone on record. I mean, I love the game. And I'll go on record saying technically it's not the prettiest pony in the stable. Certainly not. But the programming, the programmers have put a lot of thought into how they made the game. They really have. And the difficulty ramps up really well. We were playing the other night, all of us. We were having a good time. That was hard difficulty. Hard is essentially, I mean, despite it's hard, it's middle of the road difficulty. It's the medium difficulty of the game.
Yeah.
And before long, everybody was going at it like troopers. I snuck us into an overkill match at one point, and we didn't finish it, but we did competitively. We did all right. We weren't quite ready for the glass ceiling to be raised up a little bit, but within a few more matches, I know that my friends who are new to the game will start to get bored playing it on hard difficulty, and they'll look for another challenge.
Yeah.
So.
True enough.
Yeah, I was whining about overkill.
You what?
I was whining about overkill. It's like my bullets aren't killing the cops in one shot anymore. I don't like that.
Why do I unload one clip and he's still coming at me?
Yeah, exactly.